What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we are going to talk about this optic from Maven Optics. Now, if you're like me, I knew absolutely nothing about Maven Optics before I started this review. So the first thing we're going to do is talk about Maven Optic as the company. Then we're going to talk about the features of this optics, the pros, the cons, and then what I think of it overall. Getting right into it, the one thing that makes Maven different from other of hundreds of optics companies out there is they only sell direct. So you can't go to Brownells or Palmetto State or whatever your favorite online retailer is and pick one of these up. They say they take that 30-40% markup that the dealer would normally get, and they pass those savings on to us. Now, obviously, there's no way for us to know for sure if we're saving all of that 30, 40, whatever the dealer markup is. The one thing I will say, if you go to their website and look through their product line, through their product category, there's a ton of value there. What you get for the money is very, very good, especially for a optic that's good quality, that's made in Japan, that has good quality glass. There's definitely a ton of value there. So besides rifle scopes, they sell a few different rifle scopes. They also sell binoculars, monoculars, range finders, and they also have spotting scopes. Now, this optic here is the RS.2. It is their least expensive optic out of all the optics they make. They have several optics that are higher quality and have a significant more amount of magnification. Before we go any further, I do have several disclosures to go over with you before we continue. First, I do work in the firearms industry, just so you know. I do not have a connection really to Maven in any way. However, they did loan me this optic for the review, which I have to give back when I am done. Now, pretty much everything Maven sells is really geared towards hunters and maybe people shooting out at distance for competitions, but definitely hunters. So just so you know, I am not a hunter. The state I live in Rhode Island, is voted the worst state to hunt ever, and most of our ranges are very, very small. My main range is only 100 yards. My secondary range does go out to 300 yards, and I did use it there, but 300 yards is pretty much across the entire state of Rhode Island, so just know all of those things going into the review. If you're looking for a review on this optic from an experienced hunter, this is not the review for you. I am very knowledgeable with optics and scopes. I've used a ton of them, reviewed quite a few of them. I am more of a, I hate to use the word tactical shooter, but self-defense, home defense, closer up distances at the range. That's the type of rifle shooting, and quite a bit of competition rifle shooting as well. That's the type of shooting that I do with my rifle and my rifle scope. Last but not least, there will be an affiliate link down in the video description. If you want to pick one of these up, hook me up, use that affiliate link. Really, really helps keep the channel going. All right, back to the optic. On the back here, just like most scopes, it has a diopter. And if you don't know what a diopter is, it's kind of like a set of glasses for your scope. Obviously, everyone's eyesight is different. And by sliding this diopter back and forth, it's going to make the reticle as clear as possible for your eyesight. And this diopter is very, very generous. It has a very wide range of focus. Another very important feature of any scope, low power, variable optic, whatever, is going to be the eye relief and the eye box. So the eye relief is how close you can get to the scope, or how far you can get from the scope, I should say, and still have everything in focus. This one here is somewhere around 3 inches. I found it to be good to very good. I shoot mostly red dots. Again, my range is only 100 yards. So the eye relief on red dots is extremely forgiving, obviously, but Brian brought this one up. I found the eye relief very, very good, very easy to find that reticle. The eye box, on the other hand, was probably good. I'll say eye relief, very good, eye box, good. At 2 times, it was okay. Obviously, when you start cranking on the magnification, you are going to lose some of that eye box, and when you go up to 10, the eye box is a little bit tight, so you really got to be square right behind the rifle when you're using this at max magnification. Speaking of magnification, the magnification ring is very, very smooth. This one is 2 to 10 is what the magnification range is. It's a little tiny bit, now I'm being nitpicky to the maximum, it's a little tiny bit stiff. Now, to be fair, I have complained about every single magnification ring and being too stiff on every scope I've reviewed, except for the Vortex Razor 1 to 10, in which we can't compare a $500 scope to a $3,000 scope. That's not fair. I think most people are going to be fine with this and think I'm crazy. Every time I complain that a magnification ring is too stiff, I get dozens of comments saying that, no, it's perfect, you're an idiot, no. So It's not bad. It's very smooth. If this was mine, I'd probably put one of those speed levers on here just so I could rotate it a little bit faster. Moving on forward, the objective lens on this bad boy is 38 millimeters and the size of the body is 1 inch. Before we continue to the windage and elevation adjustment, let me quickly thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Blackout Coffee. Blackout Coffee is located right down in Florida, so everything is made here in the States. They have delicious hot chocolate coffee and tea. They're good company, good people. They support the troops with every purchase you make. If you want to get more information, the link and the coupon code is down in the video description. All right, back to the adjustments. They are both capped turrets, as you can see here. Now, there is no illumination. The reticle is etched, and that is it. No illumination on this model. Besides being capped, each click is a quarter MOA turn, and there's a total of 50 MOA adjustments. I gotta cheat and look at my notes here. They're labeled very, very nicely and very, very clearly here. There's a rear-facing hash mark, and you know exactly how many clicks you are adjusting every single time. It's very, very tactile. It is slightly audible, and then if you want to, you can also reset the turrets back to 0. So instead of holding off, you can just make your adjustments on the fly. Maven offers this optic in 2 different reticles. You can either get a duplex reticle or an SHR. I preferred and got the SHR because I found the holdovers a little bit easier for my brain to figure out, but both options are available to you, and both options have a few holdovers if you need to shoot out at a little bit of distance. Couple quick facts now. The optic is waterproof, fog-proof, works from -4 up to 158 degrees. And the one thing I really love is Maven has an unconditional lifetime warranty. And if it's as good as it says on their website, it's dope, and I'm very, very impressed. It says any defects or any damage that's not intentional done to the optic, they're going to take care of it regardless of when you bought it. You contact them if your scope or binoculars or whatever are broken, and they are going to fix it or replace it for you. And if their guarantee is that good on them. Dimensions: 12 inches long, weighs 12 ounces, and the MSRP is $550, which again I think is pretty good for something that has made in Japan with Japanese glass. The glass is very, very clear, if I didn't mention that earlier. So for $550, you get a good quality optic that can kind of be a do-it-all, jack-of-all-trades type optic. All right, my favorite part of the review. Let's talk about the testing that I have done on this optic. Because I'm not familiar with the brand, I've kept it on my rifle a lot longer than I normally would and shot a lot more with it than a brand that I was familiar with, just trying to be as thorough as possible without spending $1 million in ammunition. So obviously I shot it outdoors quite a bit. I did shoot it indoors a little bit as well. And in the beginning I was just trying to do stuff that most people are going to do with this optic. You know, if you're going to hunt or if you're going to shoot at distance, you know, I started off doing some prone shooting. Then I did some bench rest shooting, supported shooting on a pole, because if you're hunting and you have the opportunity to take a supported shot, you might as well. Obviously it'd be a lot easier. I did some shooting close up. But in the beginning, I was shooting mostly at 100 yards, 200 yards, 300 yards, a little bit further distance. Again, what most people are going to use this optic for, that's what I started to do. I find that stuff kind of boring. So once I did a little bit of that, I went into the stuff that I would normally use a rifle for, and that's kind of close-up, self-defense type of shooting. I started off with one-ups where you just, I had a buzzer, the buzzer goes off, bring the optic up to your eye and get a shot as quick as you possibly can. That's a great way to test the eye relief and the eye box. After that, I did some 1 reloads 1, again, rifle up, reload, 1 more shot. I do those just to, it's a good low round drill where you're not shooting 1,000,000 rounds, and you get some reload drills in there as well. I did a lot of target transitions where I had one target real close at 3 to 5 yards, took the shot, went down on a barrel, adjusted the magnification just so I could play with that magnification ring, and I took a shot at a target, I don't know, it was 75 or 100 yards away. Whatever it was, I don't remember. I always do a lot of shooting and moving, then shooting, so I did a bunch of those type of drills just because that's the type of drills that I like to do, get my heart rate up a little bit. I also did a lot of shooting from different positions. Like I said, I did the prone and bench rest. I also did some shooting kneeling, behind barricades or behind barrels. And then a few times at the range, I set up a kind of like a tactical games event or a mini tactical games event. If you guys don't know, I've competed in a few tactical games. I'm not very good, but I find them very, very fun. And it's like CrossFit with guns is the quick explanation for it. So there's a lot of sandbags, and there's a lot of kettlebells and dragging sleds and God knows what else they have planned. You never really know exactly when you get into it. But it's a very, very physical event. And I like doing that when I have equipment on my pistol and rifle, because it really kind of realistically beats up the equipment, because you're throwing the rifle on the ground with the optic attached, you throw it on your back, you're running and it's getting all beat up. And this optic's not necessarily made for that, but that's what I do with my rifle. So that's what I did with this optic. And I set up two separate days. I set up 3 events. So it took a total of 6 fake tactical game events, and through all of that, it has held up extremely well. The 3 pros that I have. The first one is going to be the value that you get and what you get for your money. I'm a big value guy. Most of my friends call it cheap, but I like to call it value. For example, I shoot the SIG X5 Legion over a Staccato XC because I am cheap. I know it's not as nice, but there is a ton of value in that pistol. Very same with this optic. I really liked the 2-to-10 optic. I haven't spent a lot of time with 2-to-10s, mostly 1-to-6 and 1-to-8, but didn't slow me down at all. Even having the 2-time magnification up close was not an issue. The 10-time was very nice, shooting out at 300 yards at my range, so that was good. And then I didn't really hop on it enough, but the glass, for the money, the glass is really, really nice. And most optics made in Japan are known for having very high quality clear glass, and this is no exceptions, especially for the $550 price tag. The glass is excellent. Now, as far as cons, I'm going to be so nitpicky, and anybody who has felt this magnification ring is probably going to say I'm an idiot, and that's okay. Feel free to call me and nicely call me an idiot in the comment, but it's a tiny bit too stiff. I wish it was, it's very smooth. I wish it was a little easier to turn. And again, I think throwing a speed lever on here would fix most of those issues. And I don't think most people are going to agree with me, but that's my opinion and I'm sticking to it. I do want to also quickly mention durability. This is just a sample size of 1. Again, I know nothing about this brand. I do have to give it credit that this thing held up really, really well, especially through the fake 6 tactical games events that I set up, because I banged this thing around really, really good between the running and throwing it on the ground and on the barrel and stuff like that. So this one has held up extremely well. If they're all this durable, then it'd be an amazing value for the money. So overall, if you are looking for a good quality optic, something in the 2-to-10 range, you want something with really clear glass, this should definitely be on your list. Same as their higher end optics, like they have a 5x30 optic. Actually, I have 2 of them that are 5x30. And they look awesome, especially for the price. Again, ton of value here. Besides hunting, which we talked a lot about, this could definitely be used for competitions as well, especially if the type of competition you're in may have you shoot out a little further. This could absolutely fit that bill. Also, if you go to the range and like plinking with your friends and hitting steel and you want a good quality optic with a little magnification, if you're like me and your eyes are terrible, if your range reaches out a little bit further, this should definitely be on your list for any of those scenarios. All right, before you guys go, let me quickly thank Maven Optics for sending me this scope and letting me review. I was very happy to learn about another brand. I always love learning about different brands. I also need to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Blackout Coffee. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Link and coupon code down in the video description. Let me also thank the other companies here who support me with affiliate links. My Patreon supporters are sensational. They really help pay for the ammo on this review. If you want to know what reviews I am working on right now before they come out, consider following me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Parler. I am on all 4 of those, and the links are down in the video description. Last but certainly not least, thank you guys for watching. It is truly, truly appreciated, and I will see you next time. Peace!